At very important moments in our lives, we tend to have a lot of trouble processing our emotions, and that's partly because we experience so many at once, and many of which sometimes are even conflicting emotions. Think about some of the more important moments in your own life that you've experienced. Maybe it was your graduation, where you were so proud of all of the hard work and your accomplishments, and yet sad to leave. Maybe it was a new job where you felt so excited for the future and yet maybe nervous for the challenges that would come with it. Or maybe it was the birth of your child, where you never knew you could love someone so much so fast, but at the same time be terrified of messing things up. Life-changing moments carry with them a lot of mixed emotions. And we see that clearly in our gospel today. The disciples of Jesus during his last days went through a roller coaster of emotions, from the highest of highs, where they got to eat the Passover with the Lord at the Last Supper, where he gave the apostles the gift of the Eucharist for the first time, where he gave them the gift of the priesthood, to then the lowest of lows, where they witnessed his passion and death. And now Mary Magdalene comes to the tomb on the third day and sees that the stones rolled away and the tomb is empty. And in her sorrow and distress, she thinks someone must have come and stolen the body of the Lord. So she runs. She runs to the only people who would understand this tragedy. She tells Peter and John, who must have felt an extreme mix of emotions at that moment. Peter had just denied ever knowing Jesus and broke down weeping with regret. And John was at the foot of the cross as he watched the Lord die in front of his eyes. But then all of a sudden, there's this tiny glimmer of hope. They hear that the tomb is empty. Did someone really steal his body, or did he rise from the dead as he said he would? And despite this mix of emotions, they have to go see for themselves. They run as fast as possible, not even together. John loves to mention that he ran faster than Peter. So he gets to the tomb first, but he doesn't go in yet, though. He knows that Jesus left Peter in charge. He knows that this mission that they're on isn't over yet, so he has to wait and defer to Peter. So once Peter gets there and John and him both go in, they see the burial cloths left behind. And immediately they know there is no way that someone came in and stole his body. They would have never unwrapped the burial cloths and left them there to only take a bloody corpse with them. They have seen Jesus bring other people back from the dead to natural life, like Lazarus. But Lazarus came back to life, and he had to be untied from his burial cloths. His hands and his feet were still bound when he came out. They were confused because this wasn't like that then. There was something that was happening, and there was a strong mix of emotions along with that. They didn't fully understand everything, but they were beginning to. They were beginning to understand. They were beginning to believe. They needed time to process all of this and wait for the Holy Spirit to come and to make it all clear, and for the appearance of the risen Lord with his resurrected, glorified body. And it all begins with a life-changing moment of witnessing the empty tomb. But this life-changing moment was not just for Mary Magdalene, not just for Peter or John or any of the other disciples. It's a life-changing moment for you and me. We encounter the reality of the resurrection, the reality of the empty tomb here and now. And we have to decide what we're going to do from here on out. Do we run away in fear and doubt? Or do we run toward Christ, the risen Lord, in love? Running to Christ carries with it some obligations. It means that we have to do what he asks us, to spread the faith, to bring others now to him so that they too can experience the true love and freedom that comes from his resurrection.